I think one of the reasons I live in New York is because I know my way around New York. I don't know my way around Paris. I don't know my way around Denver. I don't know my way around Maui. I don't know my way around Toronto, etc. So it's almost by default. I don't know very many people who live in New York who don't also say, but I'm leaving. And I've been thinking of leaving for 35 years now. I'm almost ready.
Yeah, so that's it. One more cigarette. I remember my first cigarette, man. These friends of mine, they stole cigarettes from this store, Beeler's Pharmacy. I still remember. It's like a suburb of Akron, Ohio, where I grew up. So we walked home along the railroad tracks, opened a pack. I still remember it was like a pack of Newports. We smelled them first. You know, that menthol, it smelled like candy or something. Then we lit them up. We started inhaling, coughing. A couple minutes later, we're sick, nauseous, dizzy, but we felt so cool, like, you know, real badass, 10-year-old kids smoking. But sex and cigarettes, man, you gotta admit, that's one thing I'm really gonna miss, like having a cigarette. Well,
you're giving up sex also?
No,
because you can't smoke afterwards?
Maybe, you know, if I've never had a girlfriend who didn't smoke. Maybe that means if I quit, I'll never have sex again. I don't know. But having a cigarette after sex, that's like. Cigarette never tastes like that, you know? Share a cigarette with your lover.
Oh, that's bliss. That's
that
bliss.
I'm gonna miss. Also with coffee and cigarettes, you know? That's like breakfast of champions.
Hey, my man.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey.
Want some coffee?
Cigarettes is sort of like a reminder of your mortality in a way, you know? Like each puff is like a passing moment, a passing thought. You know, you smoke, the smoke disappears. You know, it reminds you that to live is also to die somehow. I don't know, I'm gonna miss him. But anyway, last one was with you, Augie.
It's an encouragement. Mine was the lessons of clemency. I mean,
clemency?
I showed him a little bit of kindness.
This is New York!
I'm scared in my own apartment. I'm scared 24 hours a day, but not necessarily in New York. I actually feel pretty comfortable in New York. I get scared like in Sweden. You know, it's kind of empty. They're all drunk. Everything works. If you stop at a stoplight and don't turn your engine off, people come over and talk to you about it. You go to the medicine cabinet and open it up, and there'll be a little poster saying, in case of suicide, call. You turn on the TV, there's an ear operation. These things scare me. New York, no.
Best I was from Africa, but in case you didn't remember, they stole us from Africa. Black man, Finelli.
I got a best style.
I stole you from Africa?
Okay.
Can I give you back?
I couldn't have been unhappier than the 8 years I spent growing up in Brooklyn. But I say that not having realized what it would then be like being on Long Island, which was infinitely worse. And if there was probably a childhood trauma that I had other than the Dodgers leaving Brooklyn, which, if you think about it, is a reason why some of us are imbued with a cynicism that we never recovered from. Obviously, you're not a Mets fan, and you can't possibly be a Yankee fan. So baseball is eliminated from your life because of being born in Brooklyn.
You cared about the Dodgers as a kid?
Very much. I don't know why. I don't like baseball. But of course, maybe I don't like baseball because the Dodgers aren't here anymore. And these days, if you said the Dodgers, no one knows what you're talking about. They think you're talking about Los Angeles. And I don't mean the Los Angeles Dodgers. But Long Island was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, at least Brooklyn, you could walk around.
I'm from Brooklyn, man.
You Brooklyn song?
Brooklyn, you got some Brooklyn too?
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people start smoking because it's glamorized, like Hollywood in the movies. You know, you see Marlon Brando, you see James Dean smoking a cigarette, Marlene Dietrich.
That's how I started smoking.
Yeah?
I started smoking because when I was a boy, a teenager, I saw this great movie called A Walk in the Sun. You ever see it?
No.
Richard Conte, who's the other guy? I forget his name. Anyway, they're on the campaign in Europe. It's World War II, and they're in the army. And Richard Conte's a machine gunner, and he has his assistant who carries the bullets, you know, and all that. Or he carries the machine gun. As they're walking down the road onto the next battle, Richard Conte would be philosophizing about life, and he'd go, "But he never had any cigarettes." And his partner would always go, "Give me a cigarette." And somehow the way Richard Conte would be walking in the sun, carrying the machine gun, and go, "But," it made me want to smoke. I used to do it to my friends in the pool room.
Yeah.
I go, "But." They go, "Get the fuck out of here." But
Speaking of movies, I was thinking too, this is unrelated, but I was watching TV the other night in Japan, and there was some movie on, right? And why is it in every movie there's a shootout, and when they run out of bullets, they like click, click, they fling the gun away. Like it's a disposable cigarette lighter or something. What's up with that? Guns cost a lot of money. Can't you reload it? You know what I'm saying? They always like click, they throw the gun out.
that's a good point.
And another thing in movies I think is really weird, like war movies, Nazis in movies. Why do they always smoke, like in some weird way, like this? Yeah, we have ways of making you talk, Augie. Is it like the threat of, burn, torture, or it's like this? Like, yeah, we know who you are. We have seen what you've done. The fucked up thing is, though, like, you go to Hollywood now, they got us hooked on cigarettes. We see all these, this image of glamour. You go out there now, you can't smoke anywhere. It's like you smoke, you light up after a meal in a restaurant. They come over, "I'm sorry, sir, smoking's prohibited by law in restaurants." What's up with that? They get you started,
A butt. What happened to the one I just gave you? I sent it home. They're cutting down on the butts at home. A butt. A match. Thanks. Hazed, I have friends.
Yes, I'm smoking cigarettes, and many of my friends have died of it. On the other hand, while I am smoking cigarettes, I am not downing a bottle of scotch in 15 minutes. So, looked at from that point of view, it's a health tool. I can't remember the first time I had a cigarette. I can remember the first time I had a thing. Well, you would know because you're from Brooklyn, called a punk. Do you remember a punk? Punk was this long green piece of wood. It was a slim piece of wood, this big, dyed green, with God knows what caked on it, about 3 inches down all the way to the end, and you lit it and pretended to smoke it. Of course, you couldn't inhale it because it's solid wood, and you'd walk around with it. And it was called a punk. Am I right? That I can remember. When that turned into an actual Marlboro, I honestly don't recall. It along with most of my childhood memories are not available to me. My childhood was so unpleasant that I absolutely don't remember anything, I think, before age 31.